there, everybody. I am King 5 meteorologist Leah Pezzetti. It is Monday, December 8th at 3 p.m. right now. We're coming to you live on a couple different platforms. We are on Facebook Live right now. We are live on our King 5 Plus app, and we're live online right now because we want to talk about our first alert weather day that is in place right now. This is day one of 3 back-to-back first alert weather days. We have an atmospheric river that is impacting the Pacific Northwest right now, bringing significant rain, not just to the lowlands, but the mountains as well. That is prompting the risk for flooding, both urban and river flooding, also the risk for debris flows as well. It's also a windy day out there, and we're only going to see that wind continue as we head into our evening hours. So I wanted to take the time. We're going to stay live for the next half hour and talk you through the forecast. I'm also taking questions live. Our digital producer Jake is behind the scenes right now. He's keeping an eye on any questions you may write in. So if you have any questions, go ahead and write them in right now. If you're on Facebook or one of those social media platforms, you can write it in the comments. Or if you are coming to us from the app, you can text them in. This is our text line right here, 206-448-4545. Please be sure to include any information about areas if you want to throw us your name as well, so I give you a shout out for watching. Please send your questions in, and you can also use this line to send in visuals. If you are seeing anything in your neck of the woods right now, whether it's impacts from wind, if you're seeing rain, some of our spots are much more wet than others, so we are going to share that information together. And if you're seeing any of these weather impacts, please send in those visuals, send them my way. I want to see what you're seeing in your neck of the woods. So once again, 206-448-4545. That is the phone line to send in any questions. We'll be live for the next half hour. We're going to do another live stream again tonight at 8 p.m. along with our King 5 broadcasts at 4, 5, 6, 6:30, 9, 10, 11. We're online all night long tonight to talk about this first alert weather. But let's dive right in and talk about the impacts that we're seeing right now and what we expect to come in the next couple of days. All right, so once again, 206-448-4545. That is your phone number to write in. All right, so here are the headlines. So for the rest of this evening, we're going to continue to see rain moving in tonight. It will taper off later tonight. And we're going to see wind continuing through about 10 p.m. 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts are widespread, even some isolated gusts in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range through the rest of tonight. For tomorrow, the rain shifts down to the south, and then it will lift back up into Washington during our afternoon and evening hours. Also tomorrow, that's when we're going to see snow levels briefly dropping down to the lowest point this week. That's 4,000 feet. So that does include a lot of our ski resorts. Stevens Pass is included in that. We also have Baker will tap into some of that. A lot of our resorts, with the exception of Snoqualmie, unfortunately, at the base there, we'll see some snow potential for tomorrow. And we're also going to keep an eye on rivers that are expected to crest starting tonight into tomorrow. And then actually we're going to see a couple different rounds of rivers cresting. So we'll walk you through that. So if you live near any of those streams, creeks, rivers, waterways, you're going to want to pay attention to that because we have the potential for flooding this week. And then into Wednesday, we're holding on to rain. It's going to pick up one more time, more heavy rain, more river flooding. Snow levels will be rising at that point. So that's the overall general view of what we're expecting the next couple of days. Here's a live look over Seattle right now. We see dark, ominous clouds out there. You see that camera is shaking. That's because of the wind we're seeing right now. We're seeing winds out of the south at 20 miles per hour currently. So a couple more live looks outside across western Washington. Everybody is showing the same thing. Bellingham, Everett, Seattle, Tacoma, gray skies across the board as we see this atmospheric river move in. Wind is one of the things that we're keeping an eye on today. Here's a look at our peak wind gusts so far since midnight. Look at the coast. Hoquiam saw a gust of about 50 miles per hour. Wow. We also have seen gusts in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range. Seattle saw a gust of 37 miles per hour. Everett saw a gust of 40. Bellingham saw a gust right about 40 miles per hour as well. So it is definitely blustery out there. And that wind is going to continue for the remainder of this evening. It's not letting up quite yet. As we take a look at our rain totals so far, this is the last 24 hours, and most of this is actually since midnight, technically speaking, because the rain moved in this morning. You can see the wide range of impacts here. If you're farther north, You're probably thinking to yourself, rain? What rain? Bellingham has only seen 200ths of an inch of rain. Everett, same thing, 200ths of an inch of rain. But look down south. Shelton, today alone, has already seen more than an inch and a half. Olympia is closing in on 2 inches of rain. That's where we're seeing some of our most significant rain. While they're not labeled, you can see north of Highway 2 as we head into the Cascade foothills. Between Everett and Stevens Pass there, you see those purple colors indicating heavier rain in the foothills. Also, east of Chehalis, we're seeing some of that heavy rain. I believe the rain gauge is down in Chehalis, and that's why we're not seeing any rain there. However, Port Townsend is smack dab in the middle of the rain shadow, so I do believe that 0 on the reading for the rain gauge in Port Townsend is correct. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but Quileute, look at that, an inch and a half of rain so far. And this is just the beginning, everybody. Here's a look at satellite and radar, and you can see widespread rain is moving in. This is a loop of the last 3 hours. It's not just Western Washington. It is Oregon as well. Portland is tapping into this moisture as well. A closer look, and you see that ring around Seattle. That is so clearly showing the rain shadow. So basically what that is it's the Olympics shielding the metro area from the rain. It sucks it all up, and so we actually don't see the rain moving into between about Seattle and Everett right now. But everywhere else is tapping into that precipitation. So a closer look at that, it is very prominent right now. So if you're in Seattle and you're thinking rain, what rain? This is why. It's the rain shadow that is setting up. But that does not mean the rain is not out and about everywhere else. That is the beauty of the microclimates of Western Washington, everybody. I want to push you farther south, east of I-5, south of Chehalis, and between about Chehalis and Longview. That's where we're seeing some of that more steady, kind of moderate rain as of right now. And that is going to continue for the next couple of hours. We are not expecting it to let up yet. This is a look at the watches, warnings, and advisories that have been issued in the region. Yes, quite a bit. This is because of wind. It's also because of flooding as well. We do have a wind advisory that's in place everywhere in tan here. For Western Washington, Puget Sound, this is going to expire at 10 p.m. tonight. Sustained winds are going to be in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range, so that's that wind that doesn't let up. Gusts could be in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range, which, as I showed you, we already have seen gusts in the around 40 miles per hour for Puget Sound lowlands. We could see isolated gusts even higher than that as we head into this afternoon and evening. So this, of course, as always, when we see wind like this, it prompts that concern for power outages, down trees as well. Our assignment desk, Kendra on our assignment desk, just pulled some numbers for me on any power outages right now. As of right now, we're actually not doing too bad. We do have a couple outages right now. It looks like Snohomish PUD is reporting more than 2,000 people without power. We are not sure if that's weather related at this point, but you know what? I would not be surprised if it was. Puget Sound Energy is reporting close to 4,000 people without power, specifically 3,735 because of 56 outages right now. And we actually do have a tree that looks like it came down in Lake Tapps. If you have any visuals of that, we want to see what you're seeing. So it looks like that is prompting some of those outages down south, down trees. And then Tacoma Public Utilities isn't looking too bad right now. Only 6 outages to report. 42 people are impacted there. So we do have some outages. I would not be surprised if that continues to tick up as we head into our evening hours. We also have a flood watch that's in place for pretty much everybody in Western Washington and Oregon as well. This is because of that excessive rainfall that's started to pick up here and continue in the last couple of hours, and it will continue into tonight. This is causing the risk for urban flooding, rising rivers as well. Because of that saturated soil, we're also seeing the potential for debris flows and more down trees. We actually saw that happen over the weekend. We had a tree that came down when wind was perfectly calm, and experts are attributing it to just how saturated the ground was. So even if the wind isn't necessarily blowing, that does not mean that those trees can't come down. I want to show you a big picture view before we take a quick break. This is what we're expecting into this evening. You can see widespread rain continues. This is 6:30 p.m. That rain shadow still continues as well. Into tonight, though, it's going to start to sag down south. You see the north starts to see clearing. This is midnight, and we're going to give that rain to Oregon. Portland is going to tap into a lot of that overnight rain. That's what they're waking up to tomorrow morning. And then it's going to refill back in during the day tomorrow. This is 5 p.m. Still favoring southern areas during the day tomorrow, but we're not done with the rain yet. This is late tomorrow night, midnight tomorrow night. We see that widespread rain once again, and then same thing into Wednesday. It is not letting up. Wednesday morning, the rain starts to lift up to the north. That's when our northern friends are going to tap into a lot of that heavier rain potential, and that continues into our Wednesday evening hours as well. So All of that to say, we have a lot that is going on in our forecast. This is just the beginning of what we're seeing right now. It's an atmospheric river. I do want to later on in the show address what an atmospheric river is. A lot of people have been asking me that the last couple of days. Hey, Leah, where did this term come from? Why are people starting to use it a lot recently? Well, there actually is an answer to that. I'm going to give you a little context, give you a little history, but I want to flash this up one more time. If you do have any questions for me, I'll be live until 3:30. Again, tonight at 8 to 8:30 p.m. So if you have any questions for me, send them my way. You can text them in right here, 206-448-4545, and we'll answer those questions live. And I also want to see what you're seeing. So if you have any visuals, if you have any down trees, any flooding going on in roadways, rivers on the rise, please send us what you're seeing in your neck of the woods. We love getting a picture because we know Western Washington is such a large region. We try to be everywhere, but we can't. You are our best asset in situations like that. So once again, send us your photos, send us your videos, send us your questions. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'm going to take a fine-tooth comb to the forecast. We'll take a much closer look at what we're expecting the next couple of days, and we'll zoom it in and show you those more microclimates in specific regions what we're expecting the next couple of days. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
New data about safety and effectiveness can come to light. The FDA keeps track of that new data, which can come from patients, drug makers, or healthcare professionals, and may include information about negative reactions to prescriptions. Based on this information, the FDA may recommend that the drug maker update the drug labeling by adding warnings or updated dosage information. Changes could also include the FDA requesting a drug recall. Find the answers at fda.gov/drugs.
Welcome back. I'm Meteorologist Leah Pezzetti. Thanks for sticking with us on this First Alert Weather Day. We are taking a half hour to unpack the forecast. We're doing live Q&A. We did just get some questions in. We're going to answer those, but I want to walk you through the forecast the next couple of days. Okay, so one of the questions we just got was about Lakewood, asking how Lakewood is looking the next couple of days. I do want to show you, you can see here when you take a look at where the rain is right now, Lakewood is kind of right on the edge of that high impact area. So you see between about Tacoma and Seattle, that's where that rain line is right now. So if we take that full, I'll actually zoom it in and zoom it in right here, and you can see that area is kind of on the cusp of that rain, but actually the worst of the rain we're seeing as we head into the foothills and the mountains. You see that over to the east, and then also down to the south. That is actually where we got another viewer question. Someone wrote in and asked about how I-5 is looking in Chehalis and if we're expecting any flooding down in that area. You know what, everybody? If we were to see roads flooding, that is exactly where we would see it, down I-5. So if you are doing any I-5 travel these next couple of days, specifically Olympia and south of that, that is where we're going to see our highest rainfall totals. Those areas could see rainfall totals in the 3 to 5 inch range for the next few days total when we add them all together. So yes, absolutely, that is where we're going to see some of those problem spots. And then we also had some questions about, just generally speaking, what are our rainfall totals the next couple of days. So that is what we're going to talk about. Let's unpack that right now. One more time, if you missed it, I wanted to take your questions live right now, so you can text them in 206-448-4545. This is also a great resource for you sending in any photos of what you're seeing in your neck of the woods right now. So please take advantage of that while we're live right now. So I want to show you the big picture. This is an atmospheric river that is heading our way. It's basically like a fire hose in the sky, sucks up that moisture near Hawaii actually, and then sends it straight to the west coast. That's what's prompting this multi-day rain event in western Washington. So the three words, I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it again. Your three words these next couple of days, three W's: warm, windy, and wet. That is the big trend that we often see with atmospheric rivers. As far as warm is concerned, our temperatures, our daytime highs are going to stay in the 50s. Our lows are going to be in the 40s and even flirting with 50-degree lows. So what that means is we're not expecting freezing conditions. Our snow levels are on the rise, and we're well above average. Our average highs this time of the year for the Seattle area, average highs 48 degrees. We could be close to 10 degrees warmer than that at times this week. Same thing for our lows. Average lows this time of the year are usually in the 30s, 37 degrees to be exact, and we could be 10 plus degrees warmer than that. So it is much warmer than where we typically would be this time of the year. Unfortunately, that is having an impact on our mountain snow potential. Tomorrow we will see snow levels dropping down a little bit, but as of right now, and actually a good chunk of this week, we're seeing, because it's so warm out there, a lot of this precipitation is falling as rain, not just for the lowlands, but also for the mountains as well. So it's unfortunate news for our snowpack. But here's a look at what we're expecting for the rest of this week. For this evening tonight, we're actually watching snow levels increase up to about 7,000 feet tonight. So no mountain snow chances tonight. We will briefly touch down to about 4,000 feet tomorrow. That's our best chance at mountain snow, but even beyond that, you can see we pick right back up. So we'll likely get a lot of rain on top of any fresh snow we get on Tuesday. So it's not necessarily great news for our snowpack. I know a lot of people have been itching, waiting for information on snowpack in the mountains, because we are waiting for those ski resorts to be able to open up. And aside from tomorrow, it's not looking any promising. Snow chances are heading our way. Okay, let's zoom things in, and I want to show you rain potential and track that rain and exactly where it's heading. We'll go hour by hour here and walk you through what we're expecting the next couple of days. So as of right now, I showed you that rain is heaviest along the coast and down south of Puget Sound right now, especially down that I-5 corridor, and then also over our mountains. You see over both the Olympics and the Cascades, we're seeing that heavy rain. I'm even seeing some of that red there for our higher elevations, indicating heavy rain over our mountains. This is 5 p.m. this evening. That evening commute tonight, it's the same story. We have that rain shadow that will keep us more dry between Seattle to Everett, but we have steady rain that will not let up for the next few hours around the peninsula, around our areas south, into the foothills, and over our mountains as well. Here's a look at 10 p.m. This is when we start to see the visualization of that change that's heading our way. The atmospheric river sags a little bit to the south, so that is going to project the rain more so closer to Oregon and less Washington. So areas to the south, you're still tapping into that moisture, but we start to see that clearing down south. This is 10 p.m. tonight is when we're going to see that. Then into tomorrow, this is tomorrow morning, once again, the rain continues down south, so we have the best chance at rain farther south, but actually Portland is going to be waking up to that wet condition tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. So our morning commute will be okay. And that being said, we could still have standing water out there in our urban roadways. So a good thing to keep in mind for any morning drivers. But then it fills right back into the evening. This is 5 p.m. It's a similar trend. Tomorrow evening, 5 p.m., it'll favor the south, but then we do still have some shower potential up to the north, but not quite as much up to the north. That changes, though, into Wednesday. So this is midnight as we go from Tuesday to Wednesday. We're still seeing that rain heavier down to the south. And then we're also going to see that once again picking up Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon and evening, this is when we're going to lift that rain up to the north. This is our best chance for rain for those northern communities, and heavy rain is expected. Same thing into Wednesday night. And then Thursday, we start to taper off, but even Thursday morning, we're waking up to wet conditions. So you can see that it's wet out there. This is a look at what we've already picked up so far today. Olympia is closing in on 2 inches, and this is what we we've seen so far, with more on the way. This is what we're expecting for the remainder of today. Olympia could see another entire inch, so we could see closing, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 2.5, maybe even closer to 3 inches of rain for daytime totals for Olympia today through midnight. Puyallup looking at another inch, but you see up to the north, much more minimal totals. Over our mountains, another 2, maybe even 3 inches of rain are possible. And then into tomorrow, same trend, we'll add that rain mostly down to the south. I do want to talk about wind before we take one more quick break. Here is a look at what we're expecting as far as wind is concerned into this evening. We see that flow kind of from the southwest. And it is going to keep wind strong for the next few hours. The wind you're seeing right now will stay this strong for really 3 to even 6 hours from now. It's not until 9-10 p.m. tonight that wind will start to calm down, but it does calm down pretty quickly, which we see into tomorrow. So that's the good news there. Also quickly, I do want to talk about river flooding potential. So here's a look at some of those rivers and when they'll hit that crest. The pink color is indicating the worst of the river flooding. The Skagit River near Mount Vernon and Concrete as well is expected to hit a crest on the 11th and 12th. But actually the next couple of days, what we're seeing with a lot of our rivers is they'll increase, they'll hit a crest, and then they actually decrease, but then they pick right back up a day or two after that because of this multi-day rain event. So keep a close eye on that if you live near any rivers. These rivers are really going to see a lot of that. This is moderate is the red, major step above that is the pink. Skykomish near Gold Bar, Snoqualmie near Carnation, and Snoqualmie Falls as well, along with the Puyallup River near Ording. All of those are expected to hit that major flood stage as early as overnight tonight. You see that 4 a.m. on the 9th, that's 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. That is the case for Skykomish near Gold Bar, also for Snoqualmie near Snoqualmie Falls. So please, please, please keep an eye on that and watch those rivers if you do live in any of those areas. That is one of the big things that we're keeping an eye on. I've been going back on kind of historic data and looking at those rivers and historic crests. I'm not seeing anything necessarily record breaking, but what I am seeing is that if you remember 2023, exactly 2 years ago, actually, we had a very similar rain event, an atmospheric river that brought also heavy rain, in a lot of rain in a short period of time, and we did see our rivers rising then. It looks like in some cases we'll actually see higher river crests than what we saw in 2023. So if you are one of those people who was impacted by the 2023 flooding, do please take those precautions because we could see not only similar, if not worse conditions for the next couple of days. Okay, so that's river flooding. I know we've been talking about a lot, but I do want to also talk about atmospheric rivers as a whole. Plus, I'm going to take a quick break and look at some of those questions. We'll come back and we'll answer some of those questions in just a moment. But a lot of people have been asking me about atmospheric rivers and saying, hey, where did this term come from? Why are we using it so much these days? There is a very clear reason for that. I'm going to talk about that once we come back.
New data about safety and effectiveness can come to light. The FDA keeps track of that new data, which can come from patients, drug makers, or healthcare professionals, and may include information about negative reactions to prescriptions. Based on this information, the FDA may recommend that the drug maker update the drug labeling by adding warnings or updated dosage information. Changes could also include the FDA requesting a drug recall. Find the answers at fda.gov/drugs.
And I'm meteorologist Leah Pezzetti. We are coming to you live on King 5 Plus. We're also live on Facebook and online, and we're taking your questions. We're talking about our first alert weather days as we are in day one of 3 first alert weather days because of an atmospheric river that is bringing rain, a lot of rain in a little bit of time to western Washington and Oregon as well, the Pacific Northwest as a whole. We got a question from Jason in Redmond, and I really like this question, Jason. He asked, okay, so we've been talking about a rain deficit all year long. What does this rain mean for our deficit, especially CTAC? CTAC is our official metric for Western Washington. Most regions rely on a large airport to be their official metric. Obviously, we fine-tune forecasts and we look at other regions as well, but CTAC is our official reading. And so I do want to talk about that because, Jason, that's a really good question. So this is what we're looking at so far for the month. And then as we look at our yearly departure as well. So for the month, Bellingham, SeaTac, Olympia, all in that 1 to 2 inch of range so far. Normal is a little bit less than that. So we are above average, and that's before the atmospheric river has hit. So we are definitely going to be well above average for the month. But I do want to take a closer look at that yearly deficit. So what we are seeing here is that we're well behind across the board. Bellingham, SeaTac, Olympia. Bellingham's doing the best. They're only 2 inches behind. SeaTac's more than 8 inches behind. Olympia more than 11 inches behind. So yes, we are expecting anywhere, Olympia specifically, we've already seen close to 2 inches of rain today. We'll probably double that in the next 24 hours. That is great. But when we have an 11-inch deficit, it's a great step in the right direction. But we would need multiple of these to make any real impact. And that does bring me to my next point. I want to talk about atmospheric rivers as a whole. So I've had a lot of questions about, hey Leah, where did this term come from? Why are we hearing it so much recently? The event itself is not anything new. You may have heard it referred to as a pineapple express in the past. This is kind of just a better way of calling it. Scientists said, hey, let's clean this up a little bit. But atmospheric rivers, Scripps Institution of Oceanography, based out of San Diego with UC San Diego, has been doing a lot of work in the last couple of years to fine-tune how we scale atmospheric rivers, because they said, hey, wait a second, these storms are hitting the West Coast quite a bit. They're incredibly beneficial, in fact. They bring a large portion of our precipitation to the West Coast. So you can see it's like a hose directed at the West Coast in the sky. They said, we're getting these all the time, and they can be really good if it's a weak atmospheric river, or they can be potentially bad and dangerous and cause these impacts, which is what we're seeing this week, which isn't necessarily something to celebrate in the short term because of those precautions that we need to take. So they said, hey, let's make a scale. Let's give it a metric, because like tornadoes, like hurricanes, when you say category 1 versus category 5, that puts perspective into how impactful that storm will be. They said we want to do that for atmospheric rivers as well. So that is what they are working on doing. So basically, we see this plume of moisture that is over the Pacific, and it sends moisture to the West Coast. It's basically a river in the sky is a good way of viewing it. And they can add really great beneficial rain as it pushes inland. They can also be impactful if they're too much too fast. And that's what we're seeing this week. We are seeing an AR4. So they created this scale, launched it in 2019, AR1 to AR5, atmospheric river 1 to atmospheric 5. At this point, we're looking at an atmospheric river 4. So that's a strong atmospheric river. And the reason we're on alert is because it is a lot of rain very fast. If we see these weaker atmospheric rivers, they're considered beneficial in the short term and long term because we get good rain, but it's not too much too fast. But what we're seeing as we head into the next really day to 3 days is, of course, those rivers that are going to be rising, which we just mentioned. And then we're also talking about urban flooding potential. We had that question about I-5 and Chehalis. Would not be surprised if we see some urban flooding, especially down to the south, and then down trees because the ground is so saturated. It's windy as well. So these can cause big impacts, and that's what we are preparing for as we head